Look to the future. Clonation. Is clonation possible? We have some questions about this topic. We are very interested in the genetic advance in science, and we would like to know if it is possible or it will be possible to clonate a human being. The questions that we are going to answer are the following. Why is it necessary to clone a human being? When and how was the first attempt to clone a human being? What was the result of the last clonation attempt? Which human beings are the ones used to clone? Pioneering scientists of clonation. We have a simple hypothesis. We think that the human clonation will be possible in the next 10 years because we are getting closer to it. The only problem will be the ethic, because a lot of people are not agree with clonation. To talk about clonation, first we should know its definition. Clonation can be defined as a process where we achieve identical copies of an organism, cell or molecule already developed. We should care about the following characteristics. First of all, we need to clone the cells, because it will be possible to do a copy of an organism if we don't have the cells that form it. It is supposed to be part of developed organism because cloning is obtaining copies of certain organism. Also, you should create it asexual. Sexual reproduction does not allow obtaining identical copies, since this type of reproduction, by its very nature genes, multiply diversity. Now, let's talk about the first clone living being. People that know about this topic think that the first cloning ever occurred with Dolly the sheep in 1996, but Dolly was the first long-term clone animal ever. The first cloning ever in the animal kingdom happened in 1952 from a frog ovule by scientists of the Pennsylvania University. Also, after them, in 1991, the Dr. Wei-Ming Che in Taiwan cloned 5 pigs, but it reached only a 90% of similitude. Dolly the sheep was born in 1996, but the scientists Ian Wilmut and Kate Campbell didn't announce it until 1997, but we only know the great part of the history. They did what they were looking for. They cloned an animal, but it was just one of the 200 attempts. In the same year, 1997, Li Meng, Jung Eli, Richard Stoffer, and Don Wolf were trained to clone monkeys, because primates are the closest animal to a human. They tried with 29 clones, embryos, and 2 clone monkeys were born, a male and a female. This was a big advance to a human clonation because it's the proof that if primates can be cloned, humans will be in the future. There are a lot of examples like this. Nowadays, there are more than 300 cloned mammals cloned with the same technique that Wilmot and Campbell used to clone Dolly. In 2013, human embryonic stem cells were created by somatic cell nuclear transfer, which means that we are very close to reach the human clonation. If we talk about the attempts of cloning a human body, we need to go back to 204, time when Panagiotopsis sabbos claimed to be the first one to successfully implant an embryo obtained from an immature ovule of an infertile woman, a skin cell of his husband. But a lot of scientists say that it wasn't real. 2 years later, Sabbos admitted that he failed with the experiment and with other 4 attempts. According to Sabbos, there is a 30% chance that a clone embryo will develop properly. But the scientist has promised that successfully or not, we will try again and again until we achieve it.
We did a survey of 10 questions to 50 people between men and women about the topic, and the results in question obtained are the following. Our first question is, do you know what is clonation? 50% says yes, that it's 100%. But actually, I think not everybody knows exactly how is clonation. They just think clonation is reproducing a living being, and that's not clonation about, but that's the answers that they gave in the survey. The second question is, do you think the clonation is good or bad? And it's 50% of person that says yes, and another 50 that people that says that is not. Do you think one day we can clone humans? The whole people said yes, and well, do you think clonation should be illegal? 40 people say yes, and 10 people say no. Would you use cloning? And everybody says yes. As the other question is, do you think that the clonation will solve so much things now we can't? 32 people say yes, and 18 people say no. Do you think cloning can cure diseases? 28 people say no, and 22 people say yes. Do you think there is ethic in cloning? 40 people say no, and 10 people say yes. In how much time do you think it's going to be possible to clone human being? 30% says that around 10 years. 7% says that around 20 years. 40%, that is 40%. 5 people says that in 30 years. And another 5 people say that in 50 years. And okay, only 3 people say that it will be in the next 5 years. And the last question was, if you get to clone a human being, do you think it will be the same as the real one? And everybody says that no. So what else can be stated based on the results? We can study a little bit more about clonation in a scientific way, like getting more scientific information, how it's done, and the way it works. Also, another topic that can study is the ethic, because people's opinion is very divided in this topic. Some of them thinks that this is unethical and shouldn't be done, but another part of the population is completely agree. So we can study the opinion of the people and try to find out why they take this opinion referring to the topic. The discoveries that we got, it can be applied to change people's mind, because I think that everybody should agree in cloning, because it gives a lot of advantages and helps a lot of people. It helps to develop in medicine, and I mean, just imagine that you need a new kidney and you can just clone it. It will be just amazing, because people need to stop thinking that cloning is only about taking a human being and reproduce an exact copy of it. I think this will change the way people see the clonation. It will help the society and also the culture and education of the people. It can improve in a way that everybody gets beneficiated of it. And about the detractors of the clonation, the detractors of the clonation are the people that think that it is unethical, that it is playing to be God and just be creating life. People that is not completely informed about the topic and they don't care about investigating. People that should start reading and getting informed about this, because in the future, at one day, everybody will be beneficiated about clonation.